WNOV family, I know you had a great time listening to the last show. Let's get into this show. You're listening to Will Martin, and this is The Difference on WNOV. This is March 28th. It is the last Friday before Tuesday, right? So we've got an election coming up. How you doing, Jermaine?
Man, I'm doing pretty good, man. I can't complain at all, Will.
All right.
I can't complain. And, I figured it out, man. Ain't nobody listening anyway. So if
I'm listening.
I take 6 months to mind my business and 6 months to mind yours, I'll make it through the year.
Okay. Well, you know what? Let me know when you get on my side, right? Let me know. Debo, you doing all right?
I'm doing great, Will.
That is great to hear. That is great to hear.
Let me, having you in the building certainly makes for a great day.
Oh my goodness!
I don't know.
Wait a minute, am I awake?
Wait,
you know it's a setup. You know it's a setup.
Seem to brighten up the room when you come in.
You know what? I picture Lucy, and I picture the football, and I'm just waiting for him to pull this football away.
It's coming, Doc. It's coming.
No, I'm gonna leave it at that.
Hey, well, you know what? It's almost a little bit more scarier.
Yeah.
That he just left it at that, right? Because now you don't know where it's gonna come up.
So now it's like something is rotten in Denmark. You just don't know what it is.
Right.
Yeah.
You just don't know.
Yeah.
This is what we were talking about before, like 360. You don't know what's coming. You don't know what's coming. Well, I didn't know what was coming when I came in here today, but I actually got a gift.
Yeah.
It's an incredible thing, So let me see if I can do this. Debo, I know you got my shiny head in here, so I'm going to
just hold it up.
There we go.
And I'm going to zoom in there and let's see if we can get a good shot of it.
Beautiful. And this is another great opportunity to remind people. If you are only listening to the show on 106.5 FM or 860 AM, you get a chance to hear it. But there's also the chance to actually see the show if you go to Facebook or to YouTube. And if you click the subscribe, it will actually let you know for all the shows when they're getting ready to come on. So, but I came in today and this lovely woman stopped by, Wanda Pounds, stopped in, and it was a package. The package was not ticking, so that was really great.
It was not ticking.
I was really glad it was not ticking. But she came in and she brought me the original Black Cowboy calendar for 2025. And this is the 25th anniversary of doing the Black Cowboy calendar. So what is that? She actually came by because we had done so many shows in February talking about Black history. And this was an element that she wanted to make sure that we got a chance to lift up. Cowboys are so often associated with it being more of a white history. And so she wanted to make sure that we could let people know that there were Black cowboys as far back as cowboys go. And, she told me that, and I'm going to just check this piece out. Mr. Ed House has taken this on as a real mission in his life to share with folks about Black cowboys. Jermaine, you said to me, we talked about 300,000 Black folk, oftentimes slaves, sometimes escaped slaves from the South.
Yeah.
And during Black History Month, we had an author come in here and talk about the fact that we had gone back, and knowing that if they went back to the South, what they were going to get themselves into if they were captured, almost a fate worse than death.
Yeah.
If they got captured down there.
Yeah.
Well, you said to me, we didn't even know that history.
Right.
Didn't even know that had happened.
Right.
And I think there's so many people in Milwaukee and around the country who have no idea of how many Black folks served. There were 20,000 Black folk in the U.S. Navy.
Wow.
In addition to the troops.
Wow.
On the, so, really, and so Ms. Pounds came in because she said WNOV does something that other people aren't doing. We're educating people about our history and making sure that people know what's going on. And so I really appreciated her stopping by just before the show. Now we begged her.
Yeah.
Hey, you and I tried to double team her to get in here, man.
She wouldn't.
But we should have told her this was the exit.
Right.
But the only way we could have got her
is through this way.
Exactly. Because she's so articulate about
Yeah.
what's going on. And she was talking about being from, I believe she said Boley,
Oklahoma, right?
Boley, Oklahoma.
Yeah.
Originally, she lives here, family's here, but that she goes back on a regular basis. And Mr. House is in Oklahoma,
Yeah.
and he's keeping alive this history of Black cowboys.
Yeah.
And so he's actually put together now for 25 years this calendar. And again, it's this opportunity. It's got a series of history elements on every month to just explain to folks, what our history is.
Yeah.
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 And it's not just information about the Cowboys. It's so much more about so much of our history. And for instance, he's got Rosa Parks' birthday identified on here, and they've got Carter Woodson on here as well as part of Black History Week, having been observed for the first time. There's a whole series of these kinds of things all through the calendar.
Wow.
And so she actually gave me the information to talk to Mr. Ed House. And while we won't get a chance to do it today, I'm going to make sure that Wanda Pounds knows we're going to reach out to Ed House on a different day.
Yeah.
He's in Oklahoma, and
Nice.
we'll link him up.
Yeah.
I know Debo showed me we can link people from anywhere.
Yeah, from anywhere, man. From China, Afghanistan, wherever you at.
There we go. There we go. Ducking and dodging.
That's it.
So we'll see if we can't get Mr. House on here to talk about, because they've got they even have an annual Black rodeo out in Oklahoma. And
Wow.
so
We've got a group of Black cowboys here locally.
oh yeah,
Really?
yeah.
Mhm.
That's true. Hey,
So
well,
they-
maybe we can do a double thing. Maybe we can
Oh,
get
that'd
the
be
Black
nice.
Cowboys in and the Black Cowboys on, and make a show of it.
So I know that we was talking, before we went on the air, and I was telling you how, just finding out how the whole cowboy, thing came into
Yeah,
existence.
You're right.
And just how, that we took a negative stigma
And made it a positive.
and made it
So
a
much so
positive.
everybody else wants it.
Yeah.
Right. Well, we're going to get into that when we hold the show, because I really thank Wanda Pounds for coming
Yeah.
by here and dropping this off. And, if other people in the community, this is why we keep talking about WNOV family.
Yeah.
If other people in the family have got things that they want to make sure that we're talking about on the radio, bring them by, drop it off. She just stopped by. We happened to get a chance to talk just before the show.
I mean, look, we take fruit platters, cakes,
There
brownies,
we go.
Fruit baskets.
sandwiches, barbecue,
Fruit by the foot.
Wait. And ribs.
and ribs. Yeah.
And ribs.
We take-
Yeah. We
Especially
haven't heard-
rib tips.
We
Oh,
haven't
you
heard
better
from
believe
our
it.
rib guy lately, man. He hasn't been through.
Well,
Yeah,
man,
what's
I've
going on?
never
Check
seen
on
the
him,
rib guy, so I'm feeling a little offended that I have
Oh well,
not been.
you're here a little.
Yeah, I
too,
think you
too,
only-
too late. I
Yeah.
think.
Yeah, that's a shame.
See,
Well,
he's
it's,
gonna have to come on Fridays. man.
Debo, it's never too late for rib
Ever.
tips.
Yeah. Okay.
No,
we'll-
never too late for rib tips.
We'll get Big Tony on the line. here.
Okay,
Yeah,
well,
man, let's figure
well,
out
yeah,
what's going
let's
on.
get him in here, because have him
Well,
sit down for a little while.
Truthfully,
We
I
can-
think Right Out was the last one that he brought something.
Oh, and I tell you, it was fire, man. We bought some corned beef. There wasn't that corned beef.
Yeah.
Wait a
corned
minute,
beef.
how many people had
Ooh.
this corned beef?
Debo,
Yeah. I've had it.
Michelle. But I think it was like on a Wednesday or something when he brought.
Yeah,
it.
he stays away from.
I feel like that's
from-
discrimination.
Right,
No,
he
he
said-
says he doesn't do Friday on account of some guy named Will or something.
See, there we
like
go.
that.
I knew discrimination.
You knew the football was coming. You knew the football was coming.
You knew it was somewhere in
the
So
You're hiding that thing behind your back.
Thank you.
Yeah.
See, well,
Yeah.
what is Tuesday?
Election Day.
Election day.
Got to be the
It's
perfect.
also
but it's
April
not.
Fool's Day too.
Well, you know what?
Oh,
Yeah,
yeah.
April 1st.
Oh boy.
You know what? In addition to that, man. In addition to that, it's something even bigger going on election day.
What's that?
Even bigger. Election Central.
Oh yeah,
Election
that's right.
Central
Election
is
Don't
on.
remind us, man. That's a long day for us.
Yeah.
It's a long day for us. And guess what? I get to come in here on more than a Friday.
and hang out with.
Oh, so
that would be
maybe
a
we should
great
get Big
day.
Tony to
Yeah, man,
bring
That's what
some-
I'm saying.
Oh, you look at you.
Hey,
That's
He's
what I'm
setting that
saying.
up. He's setting
Hey,
that
man, I like
thing up,
this guy,
Jermaine.
Hey, do you see how he set
I
it
like
up?
the way he thinks.
Yeah.
Hey, you know what? I've been around Debo long enough. You
Yeah.
gotta know for counterpoint for every point, right? You gotta be ready.
Yeah. A response on top of response.
Thank you. Exactly. You
Guys
gotta
will
know where he's going.
Give
Yeah.
folks a bad impression of me, man. Everybody
No,
rails on
no.
me like I'm such a bad guy
Oh, you are.
around here.
Oh, you
We just know you got to be awake and ready when Debo has something to say.
Hey, Will.
And Will, you know the saying, right? If you stay ready, you don't have to get
There
ready.
you
Will,
go. There
ask
you go.
me if Debo's a good guy. Just ask me.
I'm gonna ask you:
Ask me.
is Debo a good guy?
Yeah, let's set that up,
Choir
man.
full of
Let's set
crickets.
that up.
Wait. You know, neither one of you is right. So, I'm gonna pray for both y'all.
Thank you, Doc. Thank
So, Election Central schedule. Here's the thing. Okay. Debo said it's going to be a long day and it's going to be an important day. So, we've got a lot on the agenda for this coming Tuesday for Election Central, and it starts at 7 a.m. So, make sure that you are actually listening throughout the whole day. This is going to be history made. I want to make sure you know that Election Central for WNOV is actually being sponsored by the Democratic Party of Wisconsin and the Republican Party of Wisconsin. This is the second time that both political parties have both stepped up to sponsor Election Central 2025. And Souls to the Polls is also helping sponsor. So we thank Republican Party of Wisconsin, Democratic Party of Wisconsin, and Souls to the Polls for being sponsors. Yours truly, Will Martin. I'm going to be here helping out, as well as Michelle Bryant. And we'll have special guests throughout the scheduled day. Michelle's going to kick things off as Election Central starts at 7. And she'll be with you from 7 to 9 a.m. Keith Paris is going to be here from 9 to 11, talking about as we get ready. Wisconsin Voices is going to come in, and they're going to have as a special guest Greg Lewis, who is the executive director of Souls to the Polls. Al Sharpton will be on from 12 to 3, and then we really get at it. Michelle's going to come in, Michelle Bryant, from 3 to 3:30. I get a chance to take over from Michelle from 3:30 to 4:30. And then from 4:30 to 6, Michelle will be back in the seat. And she's going to have Greg Lewis in as a guest a second time. And then I'll take over from there from 6 to 6:30. And then we're going to have an open dialogue. So cattle call, people around the table to talk about what's happening with the election from 6:30 to 8 p.m. So lots that's going to be going on, and so don't miss it. Do not miss a minute of it. It's going to go from 7 a.m. to 8 p.m. That is Election Central schedule for 2025. So hope that you will be here with us and listening. Hey, wait a minute. We got a new member in the room here, man. Say hello to the guests here, man. Very nice to see you in here, man. So, Byron, we don't get you down here too often. Okay, so you're gonna make sure that everything continues to run smooth. Okay, all right. You've been deputized by Debo. Okay, man. Hey, so you know it's election day coming up. Have you voted yet? What? You have not voted yet? Jermaine, have you voted yet?
Actually, my thing is, man, I was going to vote as soon as I got off of work today. I'm going to my voting place.
Yes.
And I'm gonna cast it early, man. I'm gonna do it.
Okay,
early.
now let me tell you, that's a very good place to segue here.
Yeah.
I'm very glad. I'm glad you see the light.
Oh yeah.
500,000 people in the state of Wisconsin have voted early.
Yeah.
This is over 50% increase over the last judicial race we had
Yeah.
in 2023. So here's some information for folks. If you are looking to vote early, there are designated areas for you to be able to do that in Milwaukee. Early vote is going to come to an end. Looks like Saturday is the last day in Milwaukee. Now, it's different in every county. So if you're listening to us outside of Milwaukee County, you have to check to see what the last day of early vote is for your county. But in Milwaukee County, the last day of early vote is Saturday. So today is Friday, and there are a number of places that you can go and vote. Hey, the Zeidler Municipal Building downtown, 841 North Broadway Avenue, they are open today from 10:30 until 5:30 p.m. and on Saturday from 9:30 a.m. to 4:30 p.m. You got Capitol Drive, the voting center there, from 10:30 to 5:30 p.m. and they're open again 9:30 to 4:30 tomorrow. If you are closer to the Washington Park Senior Center, that's at 4420 West Valise Street, and again 10:30 to 5:30, 9:30 to 4:30 tomorrow. Good Hope. I don't know what part of we don't want people stalking you, but I don't know what part of town you in, but we got all kinds of places available, man.
Yeah.
Good Hope Library
Yeah.
is another one of the early voting sites. That's 7715 West Good Hope Road.
Yeah.
If you live up that way, 10:30 to 5:30 today, as well as 9:30 to 4:30 tomorrow.
Yeah.
Tomorrow again, last day that you can vote early. All right, now here's the other thing. Let's tell people, if you were down toward MATC, Building S as in Scott, 700 West State Street, Building S, 10:30 to 5:30 today, 9:30 to 4:30 tomorrow. And last but certainly not least, Clinton Rose Senior Center, 3045 North Martin Luther King Drive, and that's 10:30 to 5:30 today.
So, question with the early voting,
Yep.
can you go vote anywhere, or you have to go to the ones that's designated to your area?
It's a very good question. But what I'm looking at I'm looking at the Election Commission web page for Milwaukee,
Yeah.
and it does not say that you cannot. It does not say that you have to be in a specific place.
And
Now,
I think that they should kind of clarify that, because, say for instance, if you stay on this side of town,
Yep.
right, and you decide, okay, well, I'm gonna go over on Good Hope Road,
yeah,
and you go over there and you stand in line, and then you get there to find out that you can't vote
do it.
there, it's going to discourage you, and you're going to go
I
home, and you're not going to.
totally agree. And you
Yeah.
know what? I'm glad you asked the question, because also they've got a phone number right here, and it is 414-286-VOTE. 414-286-VOTE. And that is 214-286-8683. Okay. If you call that number, that is the Milwaukee Election Commission. You call that number and you can ask them exactly that question. Can I go any of these places? Because on their list, they have 2025 spring election locations for early voting. And they've really got 3, 6, 9, 10 locations citywide, some of them on the south side, etc. And so absolutely, before you go, make sure to call 414-286-VOTE. That's 8683 in order to make sure that you got it covered. We don't want you to make a trip, and I certainly don't want you to go home without going ahead and voting. So you know what's on the ballot?
Important issues with the judges and the schools, and it's a whole lot that's going on.
Well, we're gonna get into this right after this break. This is Will Martin with you. Hey, as I said earlier, if you are only listening to the show on 860 AM or 106.5 FM, you are only getting half of the show. Subscribe to us on YouTube or Facebook. You can hit the button on subscribe, and you will get notifications for all the shows throughout the day. So we're talking about the election. It is on Tuesday. And so, as we said earlier, not only is it election day, but it's also going to be election central day, starting at 7 a.m. with Michelle Bryant. And then she and I and Keith and others will get a chance to have a series of segments all the way to 8 p.m. that day. So we're ready for a lot of history to be made, and hope that you will be a part of it. Make sure that you're listening all day long. Now, Jermaine, okay, let's see if we can break this down, man. Who is actually running for office? Do you know that actually a significant number of Wisconsinites told pollsters that they did not know either candidate running for Supreme Court?
Really?
And an even higher number of people said they did not know either candidate running for Wisconsin Department of Public Instruction Superintendent.
Wow.
So we got a lot of people out here who don't know. And of course, you know, WNOV, we're here to help educate folks, right?
Yeah.
Okay, so, and you got a chance to actually be in the studio with both candidates for the Supreme Court race.
Yes.
I seem to remember one of them is a guitarist, though.
Yeah.
One of them's a rocker, so, you know, just saying.
One of them playing the band.
One of them playing the band. Yeah. So, okay, so just for the folks who are listening, first of all, let's talk about the history making of this race. First and foremost, when we had the race in 2023 for Supreme Court, we broke national record.
Wow.
For the amount of money spent on the race. It was $50 million spent on one court race in one state. Broke the records. That's the most amount of money spent anywhere in the nation, in the history of the nation, on a Supreme Court race anywhere, right?
Wow.
Okay, now we've broken that, and by some. They have already raised and are spending $80 million, and believe by Tuesday that $100 million will have been spent on the Wisconsin Supreme Court race. $100 million.
Whoa.
Okay. And so you know that it's a big race, right? If people are from all over the country donating money to both sides, trying to make sure as to how this comes out. So, as I said, 500,000 people in Wisconsin have already voted. 500,000 people.
That's a lot of people.
That's a lot of people. Okay. 500,000 people is like saying that is basically almost every man, woman, and child in the city of Milwaukee. That's the equivalent, right? Yeah. Of the largest city in the state, just about. And who knows by the end of the day today, how many people will actually have already voted. Right. So the two candidates who are in the race for Supreme Court, they are, what happened to the drum roll, man?
You want the drum roll?
Well, I'm just saying, you know, for $100 million, you know, we should at least have a drum roll.
We should have
right?
some type of something.
Thank you for, you know, we're not seeing the $100 million here, but, you know, it's happening, right? So, okay, so Susan Crawford is the more liberal candidate for the court. She has, she's obviously an attorney. She has been a judge at the circuit court level, which is the lowest level of our judges, right? We have circuit courts, with Court of Appeals, and the Supreme Court. Okay, so she has served as a circuit court judge in Dane County, and she actually has been in office in that role since August 1st of 2018. Okay, and she actually served as chief legal counsel for Governor Doyle. Okay. She has also worked for the Wisconsin Department of Justice, and she was an administrator with the Wisconsin Department of Natural Resources. Okay, so a little bit different kind of background for the court. She is somebody who has she has been running in this race. She declared shortly. It was like actually last year when she declared for this. But there's actually an interesting thing that ties both of them.
Hmm.
How old do you think that the candidates are?
Well, I want to say Susan probably like I want to say both of them like in their 50s.
Okay. Do you know their birthdays are actually about 2 weeks apart?
Really?
Born the same year.
Born the same year.
Born the same year. They are both 60 years old. They just both turned 60.
Oh, wow. Wow.
You know how long the term is for the court?
How long?
10 years.
So that'd be 70 years
They'll
old.
be 70 years old when the term comes up. Okay.
Wow.
So Susan Crawford, she's been in office since 2018, right? Okay. Now, Brad Schimmel. Brad Schimmel he actually came into the studio, had a good time. I remember, I think you kept the show going a little long.
Yeah.
Because we were about to get close out.
Yeah.
Then I happened to mention to you what makes
Music.
him unique is
Yeah.
that the man is in a band.
Yeah.
Right. So above being a guitarist, right? He's actually he's been a circuit court judge. So they're both at the same level of court. He's actually in Waukesha County, so the next county over from us.
Okay.
He's been in office now since January of 2019. So they've been in
Pretty much the
they've
same.
been in about the same amount of time. They are the same age,
Mm.
literally separated. His birthday is February, I think 18th, February 18th,
Oh.
and her birthday's March 1st.
Oh, wow.
So they literally
They recently just
both,
had a birthday.
Yeah, both ended up with birthdays here. He has actually been a district attorney.
Mm.
He's been an assistant district attorney.
Mhm.
He actually was the 44th attorney general for the state of Wisconsin.
Mm.
So he served in that role from 2015 to 2019. And when he finished being attorney general, he became a judge
Mm.
and all. So he is, they're both from Wisconsin. Where do you think she's from?
Dane County?
No, well, that's where she lives now.
Okay, that's where she lives.
But she's actually from Chippewa Falls.
Chippewa.
Yeah, she's
Up north. Okay.
northwest part of the state.
Yeah.
And he was born right here in West Dallas.
Oh.
And so he's got ties here. He's actually been an instructor over at Waukesha County Technical College and for Concordia University as well. And so both of them have come through. You got to give them both credit that they both showed up here at the station and came to talk to folks.
Yeah. Yeah.
And made their case.
Yeah.
I appreciate that they showed up to talk to our audience.
Yeah.
Because we're gonna get to another race.
Yeah.
Where I'm gonna talk about somebody because they never showed up.
And I think showing up is very important because it gives.
How you gonna ask somebody for your vote and you don't even bother to show up?
I think that it gives the people the opportunity to hear directly from you and not through the TV,
Right.
Through commercials and things like that.
Because you said who's lying, right? Earlier,
Yeah.
when we were in the break, who's
Yeah.
lying? And the reality is you got all these commercials out, and I can promise you this. Nobody's gonna get an award for
Man.
truth telling when you put with all these ads out,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
Right. The people doing the ads,
Yeah.
they know negative.
Exactly. So they, if they can put it out there, you won't know what to believe. But I think actually hearing from the candidate, you can make
Right.
a real assessment of who's who and what's
Right.
what.
And I think that's part of the reason why when I got a chance to interview Brad Schimmel, when he came in, was really talk about him, like his history, what has he done. A lot of our folks don't have, a lot of black folk have got to work
Yeah.
to get to wherever they're going, right?
Yeah.
So if we want to go to school, we got to work to get it, right? There's nobody cutting a check for us to just go.
Yeah.
And I appreciate the fact that Brad talked about the fact that he had to work through school.
Yeah.
He had to go at night.
Yeah.
How he got into law school as well, having to work it himself and all, right? So I just appreciate folks being able to come in and talk about that. So what they've been through too,
Right.
to get to where they are going, right?
Exactly.
So, and he's somebody that I've known for years now. And as as we got a chance to talk about, has been in his rock band and talked about, being able to play around the state.
Yeah.
I think you all have played with some of the same people.
Yeah.
So it's I think it's great for listeners to get a chance to just hear who the person is, but also just to get a sense of like, hey, beyond all the, like you say, beyond the commercials, beyond the bios, beyond all the nonsense, just to be able to hear like, what kind of person is this human being, right?
Exactly.
And how are they doing this, right? So, so that's the first race. That's what's taken up a lot of the space. But and again, I got my opinions about what to do. You're gonna have your opinion by the time you get to that voting booth today. Byron, we're gonna ask you next week if you made it. Don't be late, man.
Right.
Don't be late.
Time,
so you got today, you got to tomorrow. If you are in Milwaukee County, I'm not getting in your business. I don't know where you live, but if you live in Milwaukee County, you still got tomorrow.
Yeah.
And then the very last day is, as long as you make it on April 1st. But in Wisconsin, you don't know if it'll snow on April 1st. What we say, it went from 40 to 70.
Yeah, man. Like, you don't know if you're supposed to wear a snowsuit or shorts and
Thank
you.
Thank you. So, and you don't want to be messing around with like all the storms and everything that were happening today.
Yeah.
Go while the weather's good, right?
Yeah.
Get your vote on. Yeah. All right. Hey, look, this is not the only race going on, right? This is not the only race going on. Now, this is where I get to talk about people, right?
Yeah.
So just to forewarn you, we got the Department of Public Instruction superintendent race that's also going on, right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. 2 candidates that have made it through the primary. Jill Underly, Dr. Jill Underly. She is the current superintendent of public instruction for the state of Wisconsin. Jill Underly must be like running this race from her basement or something. Nobody has seen her. She was invited to multiple different events, and I want to get this. I want to get this right, because I don't want somebody coming back and talking about. Do you know? Do you know exactly? So, the African American Council of Churches, Alpha Phi Alpha Fraternity, UW-Madison graduate chapter, Big Brothers Big Sisters of Dane County, Center for Black Excellence in Culture, Centro Hispana of Dane County, Delta Sigma Theta Sorority, Madison Alumni Chapter, Kappa Alpha Psi Fraternity, Madison Alumni Chapter. Let's see who else. Madison Metropolitan Chapter of the Lynx, Urban League of Greater Madison. Okay. All of those organizations, you know what they have in common, my man?
What's that?
Oh, wait, I don't want to leave out Omega Psi Phi, Madison Alumni Chapter. What do they all have in common? All these organizations, many of them African American organizations, invited Jill Underly to come to. Let me tell you, here's how bad it is. Jill Underly is we think she's in Madison. They held the event in Madison to talk about our children. Do you know that Jill Underly would not come? Refused to go.
So is it a reason why?
Oh, well, hey, tell me. I'm still waiting to try to figure this out. So she said no to these people. She turned down multiple requests to come and speak. Brittany Kinzer showed up for this. The candidate who has come in. I want everybody who is listening to this station to know that Jill Underly did not come to this station during the entirety of her campaign. Never came here, never showed up, never called. You say, oh, well, wait a minute. Maybe she was busy. You've been busy the entire campaign. You're too busy for my vote then. If you can't show up and ask our audience for their vote, then maybe you don't need the vote. Maybe you just don't think you need the vote. The other thing is, well, she could have sent a surrogate.
Yeah.
She ain't sent no surrogate. Nobody has come here. Well, okay. Well, then you say, well, maybe she could have run some advertising. She ain't advertising on the station either. So evidently, she did not think enough of the people at WNOV to be at least come and ask us for the vote.
makes sense.
Right. No, no. Let me tell you, I believe everybody has a right to make their own decision about their vote. I just want everybody at WNOV to know that Jill Underly did not think enough of us to show up, call, send somebody, advertise, nothing, right? Like we don't exist. And so I want people to know that as they go to the ballot. Now, in contrast, Brittany Kinzer came in here. You got a chance to meet her as well. But she actually has been on the show multiple times. She's come in. She had surrogates as well. And she's advertising. So I respect her because she actually showed up, right? You got to show up in life.
Got to show up.
But here's the other thing that I think I'm just impressed with is, everybody I know knows who Howard Fuller is.
Yeah.
And Howard Fuller endorsed Brittany Kinzer in the race. Now, I don't know of a better administrator for MPS. I don't know of a better superintendent for MPS in the years I've been in Milwaukee. Than Howard Fuller.
Yeah.
And when Howard Fuller says something, I at least take some note of what he's saying. And so he put out a statement, and he's up in some years. He's not,
Like 70 something?
he's hey, but still getting out here. He's getting around, man. So he felt so strongly. He came in here and actually cut an ad in support of her. So, and that tells you when people know who these candidates are. And so, now he is in a position where if you are in education, you got to know Howard Fuller.
Yeah.
And for Howard Fuller to say Brittany Kinzer is his candidate. So he says in his statement, I know well that Brittany Kinzer cares deeply about children. For over a decade, I have respected her work in the Milwaukee community as a school leader, an advocate for children and families. And he talks about the fact that she's demonstrated this by her work 25 years in education, special education teacher, principal, and nonprofit CEO. And her focus has always been on the needs and interests of the children. So he is urging folks to come out and vote for Brittany Kinzer on or before Tuesday, April 1st. So I'm proud of that. Guess who else endorsed her?
Who else?
Michael Holt.
Oh,
Michael Holt endorsed her. And so he actually put together a piece, and he says that a vote for Kinzer is a vote to tear down the walls of educational apartheid. Michael never settled, right? Never settled. So he is out and saying that this is really about the quality of education having deteriorated, and that I know I've read where he's written before. Michael Holt has talked about the fact that Jill Underly did not even care to put together a plan to get our kids back up to grade level and all, right?
wow.
This state has one of the worst racial academic achievement gaps in the nation. If you take the difference between black and white student performance, and Jill Underly did not even put forward a plan to get our kids up.
Wow.
Not even a plan to put it up. And so I know that that's one of the reasons that Michael Holt stepped up to endorse Brittany Kinzer, and that Brittany Kinzer has actually worked with our kids right here in Milwaukee. So that was another one of the reasons. And so it's really interesting that she is getting all of this attention from so many different black leaders in the community. So do you think that that's all that's on the ballot, my man?
Let's see. What else is well, we got the school, we got the
Yeah.
judges, the alderman, right?
Well, so let me tell you, we got it's very interesting that you should say. So we got some more races in here, man. Do you know that Lena Taylor?
Oh, I didn't know.
Okay, so Lena Taylor is coming up as well. So she's running for Circuit Court Judge, Branch 41, right? And you remember Valerie Hill?
Yeah.
Okay, Valerie Hill, Judge Hill. She's up for Municipal Court Judge for Branch 1. So these are also Milwaukee races that are up right now. So make sure you look for folk. But there's also a referendum. Did you know we're going to... Let me ask you this, Jermaine. What's the only kind of law that only the people can make in Wisconsin?
What's the only?
What's the only kind of law that only the people can make in Wisconsin?
That I don't know.
Okay. Well, hey, I'm happy to be
Yeah,
able to tell
tell
you,
me.
man. I'm happy to be able to educate you on this.
Yeah.
Okay. So the only law that only the people can make in the state of Wisconsin, that's constitutional law.
Constitutional law.
Only the people can actually amend the Constitution of the state of Wisconsin. Only the people, right?
Wow.
Legislature can't do it. The governor can't do it. The courts can't do it. So there is another issue on the ballot that is coming up, and it is for voter ID. Okay, you got a driver's license, right?
Of course.
They let you drive in the state of Wisconsin.
They shouldn't, but they do.
Byron, you got a driver's license over there?
I do.
You do. Thank you very much. Issued by the state of Wisconsin.
It is.
There you go. You know what? That's validation right there. That and it says your name on it.
Yeah, I think so.
Okay, it's and wait, the picture, is it you?
It's some guy with hair.
Okay, good. It's some guy on there, and look, he looks at least reasonably enough like you, right?
For sure.
Okay, that's cool. So look, here's the thing. You know that we're voting on a constitutional amendment, and it is called photographic identification for voting. You know what this is?
What is it?
It's really voter ID. Okay, you know how you go and you vote and you bring out your driver's license
Yeah.
and they look at it and then they look up at you
Yeah.
and then look back down at it
Yeah.
and they look back up at you.
Yeah.
That's voter ID. Okay.
Yeah.
In other words, they're proving that you are
Are
you
you.
when
Right.
you show up to vote
Right.
for you.
Right.
Okay. Do you know some people got an issue with this? Now,
They've been doing that for years.
thank you, man. Thank you. This is what's what trips me out about this stuff all the time is people always got to have something to say. So look, do you not know people are talking about, oh, well, you know, this is trying to stop people from voting. Man, this has been the law in the state of Wisconsin since
years.
2011, 2012, right? This has been in place all this time. All the change is putting this into the Wisconsin Constitution so it cannot be changed. Okay? So the deal is to make sure. Now, here's the problem. Get rid of voter ID. Anybody can be you, Jermaine.
Well, yeah. Yeah. Well, yeah.
And do you really want somebody else voting for you?
No, man.
Thank you. I know in my case, hey, my vote is my vote.
My vote is my vote.
And
yeah.
bet not be nobody else in line for my vote.
You're right.
Okay? And don't be asking for my ballot.
Yeah.
Go
I
get your
totally
own.
agree.
Go get your own. So this is the thing. I'll tell you that voter ID is on, and vote yes equals make sure that people got to prove who they are before they come rolling in there.
I mean, in reality, Will, with something like that, I believe in it. That's really just common sense.
It is common sense. And
That's
look
just
at this.
common sense.
If you can't buy cigarettes
Yeah.
without proving how or
Or
who you
alcohol,
are,
Yeah.
if you can't buy alcohol,
Yeah.
if you can't get a package,
Yeah.
right? What in the world would people died for the right to vote? Why would you let people vote
Yeah.
with no ID, don't know who they are? All they got to do is roll up and claim.
Yeah.
Come on now.
I totally agree with you on that one.
Yeah. So I mean, look, this should not even be something that we're debating.
this-
Let's just
it
knock
shouldn't even
this
be a
thing out. It's
conversation.
been law. Let's just go ahead and make it part of the state constitution, so we don't even have to be jacking around talking about this.
So what's the problem though with the ID?
Well, so you know what? There is no problem with the ID. That's the whole thing. You know, you still got people out here talking about like, well, you know, this is trying to stop black folk from being able to vote. Black people have been voting all this time.
See, but even if you don't have a driver's license, though, you can just go get a regular ID.
Oh, and guess what? In order to vote, you can actually get a free ID. A free ID in
So what are
Wisconsin.
we talking about?
Thank you. Even Governor Evers said it's easy to get an ID in
Yeah.
Wisconsin. But you got people running around here talking about, and you know what they say? They keep talking about they're protecting us, black folk. And you know, we're not that stupid. We can go out and get our own ID.
Yeah,
we,
just-
we know how to handle it.
Just go get an ID.
Thank you. Act like we don't know what we're doing. So, yeah. Hey, wait, look, I hear that music. I know it's time for a break. So, everybody come right on back, and we will continue to talk about the election right after this break. Hey, family, we are back. You're listening to The Difference. This is Will Martin, and man, this hour has flown by. It has
Doc.
flown by.
Yes, sir.
Byron, you gonna promise that you're gonna go and vote, right?
I got you.
You got you. Okay. All right. Jermaine, you gonna handle it today, right?
Listen here, Jack. As soon as I run up out of here, I'm running straight to the
I love it.
polling place.
I love it. Keeping our history going, right? Okay.
Yeah, man. I refuse to be fugazi, man. I'm gonna be
Oh,
real around.
man, do you know we got people quoting you?
Hey, man.
I
you
ran
know.
into somebody else, and he said to me, "Oh, we can't be having all that fugazi
No,
going
man.
on."
Hey, you know I'm a trendsetter.
There we go. You are, and I think you better go get a
Yeah,
trademark
patent,
on that
yeah.
quick
Yeah.
because it's taken off. It's taken
Yeah.
off. See, that's what happens with WNOV.
Yeah.
This is where things start, right?
Yeah.
So, hey, you were saying to me, we were talking during the break, what happened with Jill Underly and why she didn't show up, right, for so much of the stuff.
Yeah.
And her response back to so many of these forums, I read off all the Black organizations. You had all of the fraternities, sororities that got together to try to hold a forum about the kids, etc. Churches, etc. Her explanation was she was too busy. How are you too busy to if you are elected official and it's election time, you need to make time for the voters.
At least some kind of time. If you can't show up in person, maybe over the stream or maybe a phone call interview, something just to show the people that you don't just care about the position, but you care about the people that's affected by you being in position.
Well, she didn't do it there in Madison for that community, and she did not come here, and she has not been to WNOV to talk about it here. So I give all the credit to Brittany Kinzer. By the way, we talked about this during the break. I want to make sure to say it. That Jill Underly is responsible for lowering the standards.
Wow.
So our kids are now parents think our kids are performing higher than they really are. Because, in what's so funny is I know Michael Holt said, when you can't make the free throw, you don't change the hoop because you can't make the free throw. Right.
Right.
Well, that's essentially what she did. Was she changed the hoop to try to make sure that more people look like. And so I know Brittany wants to get that back up and actually deal with the fact that our kids are not performing where they need to be. And let's go deal with that. So we got the Supreme Court race, we said, is going on.
Yeah.
And that's Brad Schimmel and Susan Crawford.
Yeah.
You got the DPI superintendent race. That's Jill Underly and Brittany Kinzer. And Kinzer is endorsed by Fuller and Howard Fuller and Michael Holt and a whole series of other folks in the community. And then you got this voter ID issue. We talking about, look, make sure that you prove who you are so nobody's stealing your vote. And then you got Lena Taylor out here and you got Valerie Hill out here who are also on the ballot. So what's the name of the game? Go out and vote.
Go vote.
Go vote. If you don't vote today, they got 9:30 to 4:30 tomorrow available, and then it's on for April 1st and Election Central. So until then, WNOV family, peace out.